everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Matt and today we will be playing Tower Simulator 3. In today's episode we're going to be revisiting Copenhagen Airport in Copenhagen in Denmark, which should be fun. There's a few little things which were different in this video compared to some other ones, so I will explain them in a moment. If you've not seen any of the previous episodes, feel free to check them out on the channel, and a link will be in the description below to the previous episode. If you have any questions, comments or feedback around this video or any of my other videos, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I will get back to you when I can. If you do like the content, feel free to like and subscribe, as that massively helps me out and helps me grow the channel to bring you more content like this in the future. So into today's episode then, we're going to revisit Copenhagen Airport, which we have played in a previous episode, but we've got a little bit of a twist today. So I've built a custom schedule just to make it a little bit busier than last time, but we're going to be running in foggy weather conditions. Copenhagen's right by the sea, so it does get windy and sometimes can get some really bad weather, and I thought we'll mix it up a little bit with having an airport that's kind of does experience some bad weather sometimes. We'll make it a little bit foggy. We've pretty much played clear in most of my other episodes, so we'll give it this a go. We're going to run the same runway config as last time, so we'll be using 22 left for arrivals and 22 right for departures, and I'll explain kind of the scheduling in a moment. So we'll get the game loaded, and while it does load, I will just quickly pop the scheduler up. So you can see basically this is what we used last time. So this is the Neriges design database. So we used this and ran the 3 PM hour last time, which gives us around 43 aircraft movement. I've built a custom schedule just to make this thing a little bit busier. So we're playing the 2 PM hour today, which is one that I've maxed out. There's a few maxed out hours at 60 aircraft movement plus the GA, so it gives us overall 70, I think. In terms of total aircraft movements, there's a few cargo aircraft that I've included as well, just a little bit more exciting as well, just so we can kind of see where all of the aircraft park. Kind of all I've done is just take the original schedule, just make things a little bit busier, and then yeah, add a few more GA aircraft and a few more cargo aircraft into each of the hours, just so you've got a bit of variation. But yeah, there's a few kind of hours which are slightly different. So you've got the 8 AM hour, obviously there's more departures in that one. We've got the 2 PM hour, which we're playing today, which is just slightly weighted for departures, and then the same amount for the 4 PM hour, but you've got a few less GA aircraft in that one. So we'll kind of get going. As I said, we're probably going to struggle to kind of see a lot today. Obviously, it's a bit foggy, so we'll kind of we'll go into the external cams as much as we can, but we might not be able to see too much. In terms of kind of north, we're on true north with this. I will get the additional window open so we can see our arrivals. If we look at the ATIS information, there's not really much wind, but it's very foggy, and you can see outside the window that we can't really see too much. We will get the secondary window loaded so you can see what's going on in terms of arrivals, and then trips. Bottom, we've got two aircraft ready to push back. Obviously, in terms of tower, so this is where the tower is. We can't really see too much. It's like a little apron to our right side, which I think is for kind of maintenance stuff, and I think some of the GA stuff park over here where we are. I've got F8 set up over the terminal, so we can see the stuff pushed back. We can kind of see the runway that runs across, which we won't be using today. And then obviously F9 over there. So we'll try and use kind of this as much as we can, but we're probably not going to be able to see the aircraft landing, taking off, which is deal. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need another couple of custom cameras. So for today, what we're going to do is set up that as F10 and then just quickly go back into F8. Our departure runway is here. So we'll set up a camera over here. Here's F11. So we go from F8, which we can see everything here. We'll go over here, so then we'll actually be able to see the aircraft depart, which is useful as well. Obviously, if we look at the arrivals, you'll see they're going to come in 22 left, so that's the way the aircraft at the airport is looking. There's also postman, and the cargo apron is over this side, so obviously we'll have to see how we actually work, but I'm hoping that they're going to go vacate November 2 if they're able. I'm not even 100% sure if they're able. If not, we'll have to bring them all the way down here and cross them. So the cargo apron is somewhere. I'm just going to go and have a quick look. If this is that, then start of it. Trying to figure out this airport while it is really foggy. So we've got this is runway 30. Sorry, I'm just getting myself really confused. So the tower is here. On the opposite side of 30 on the right side. We cross 30. Ah, here we go. So it's literally just over here. Probably do with a custom camera being set up with it. Although that's at F7. I'll give us a view of from here. Can't really see very well. Got F7 there, F8 and F9 for the terminal, and F10 for 22 left, and F11 for 22 right. So we get these aircraft moving and get these push. So they're going to basically want to be facing south, and I can't remember what that code sign is. It's just Scandinavian. Scandinavian 681, pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 1797, pushback approved facing south. And I just need to remember in terms of taxiways what we're going to be using. So we want to be bringing most of our departure traffic to Alpha. Our arrival is going to come in via Bravo, and they're also going to use Yankee. Our departures will be using... Sorry, the arrivals will be using Zulu. So they'll be coming Bravo, Zulu, and then either down Quebec, down Papa, down Mike, or down Lima. Anything down here will be coming down Bravo, and then they'll be using
Jet time 1816 on final 22 left.
Then the departures will be coming out via Yankee, and then Alpha, all the way to Alpha 1. Anything out of here will be coming Bravo. Sorry, not Bravo. Sorry, it'll be Romeo, Victor, Yankee, and then Foxtrot, and then Alpha. I'll just go. Postman 3271, runway 22 left, clear to land. Go back into it. I've not played this airport since the last episode, which was quite a few weeks ago. And obviously we're running in a little bit of fog, so it makes it a little bit more.
Easy 3341 with information Bravo. Requesting push and start.
So this was north. He wants to. Easy 3341, pushback approved facing west.
Pushback approved facing west. Easy 3341. Scandinavian 681 ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 68. Runway 22 right. Yeah, Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha.
Runway 22 right. Via Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot,
Romeo,
Alpha. Scandinavian 681.
Romeo, Victor, Yankee.
Scandinavian 1797 ready to taxi.
Figure out how the Scandinavian wants to move. Scandinavian 1797, runway 22 right via Tango, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot.
Runway 22 right via Tango, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha. Scandinavian 1797.
So we can't really see him now, but we'll be coming all the way down here we'll take him around the edge because the EasyJet's pushed back. Normally we'd probably bring him around here and then right there, but because the EasyJet's pushed back, we'll obviously keep him out of the way of the EasyJet. And yeah, we'll keep going. As a postman, I don't know whether they can take November 2.
On final 22 left.
I think this might actually be too small, but if that's that, then surely they must be able to, but then I don't know whether they can then go over that way. Does that actually continue? I don't think it actually. But if I should just touch him down.
Easy 3341 ready to taxi.
Very interesting. And then Avian 3271, cross runway 30. Yes. And then Avian 681, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 681.
Postman 3271, taxi to terminal via November 2, Golf 2.
Taxi to terminal via November 2, Golf 2. Postman 3271.
I mean, all the way around the back of here, all the way down there. Very interesting. I suppose there's only a 7.3, so it should make that. Yeah. EasyJet is ready to go. Easy 3341, runway 22 right via Romeo Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha, hold short of Victor.
Runway 22 right via Romeo Victor
Get time
Yankee
1816, runway
Foxtrot
22 left, clear to land.
Hold short of taxiway Victor. Easy 3341. Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Jet time 1816.
Go and have a quick look at the Scandinavian that's coming out.
Roll on 3560 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Scandinavian 681, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 681.
Keep an eye on the. I'm gonna hold short of it. That's very interesting call sign which I can't read. Very well gone.
Apron, Scandinavian 4238 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Aeroline 3560, pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 4238, pushback approved facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. To roll on 3560.
So he's
Pushback
going
approved facing south. Scandinavian 4238.
down there. The jet's coming down there as well. Get time is touching down, we can just see him through the fog. Postman 3271, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Postman 3271.
And straight through
Cascade
here.
Tower, Scandinavian 547 on final 22 left.
So need to have a look. Get time as well. Easy 3341, continue taxi. Scandinavian 1797, cross runway 30.
Continue taxi. Easy 3341.
Get time 1816, taxi to terminal via Bravo Romeo Whiskey Tango.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 17907.
Easy 3341, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 681, contact departure.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Romeo, Whiskey, Tango. Jet time 1816.
Get time 1816, taxi to terminal via Bravo Victor Tango.
Cross runway 30. Easy 3341. Fast troop departure on 124.908.
Dennis 406, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Victor, Tango. Jet time
Forget these
1816.
aprons, push
Runway 22
right back.
left, clear to land. Danish 406.
And Avian 1797, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff. Scandinavian
There's another
1797.
little tower here, yeah. Good for this room. And the other one's the airplane tower. They might have an airplane tower, 2 towers for the runways. EasyJet.
The roll line 3560 ready for taxi.
Airline 3560, runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha. The roll line 3560.
Easy 3341, runway 22 right, final point. Jet time 1816, crash runway 30.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Easy 3341. Cross runway 30, jet time 1816. Apron, Scandinavian 4238 ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 4238, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha, hold short of Alpha.
Runway 22 right, by Yankee Alpha, hold short of taxiway Alpha. Scandinavian
Just going to bring it all the
4238.
way down here. Danish is touching down. Cargo aircraft is just coming to get. Oh. Probably could do loads more cargo in this. It's quite a big cargo aircraft. Line 3560, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. The roll line 3560.
Okay. Danish 406, taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor. Scandinavian 547, runway 22 left, clear to land. Easy 3341, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 4238, continue taxi.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor, Danish 406.
EasyJet.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 547.
Scandinavian 4238, crash runway 30. Scandinavian 1797, contact departure.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Easy 3341. Continue taxi.
Airline 3560, runway 22 right, line up and wait. Finish 406, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 4238.
Cash trip departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 1797. Good day. Runway 22 right,
Easy.
line up and wait. The roll line 3560.
See him now, that's about the
Cross
Foggy.
runway 30, Danish 406.
Castro Tower, Ryan Air 50549, final 2 to left.
Airline 3560, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff. The roll line 3560.
Probably for the airport. And then Avian 4238, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 4238.
Jet time's coming in, the Danish is coming in. Good.
Apron, Scandinavian
down.
4928 with information, Bravo, requesting push and start.
And then Avian 4928, pushback approved facing south.
Pushback approved facing south.
Easy 3341, contact departure.
4928. Castrip departure on 124.908. Easy 3341. Good day. Castrip Tower,
I don't know.
Scandinavian 5289 on final 22 left.
And then Avian 547, taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Tango.
Taxi to ramp.
And then
via
Avian
Bravo,
4238, runway
Tango,
22 right, cleared for
Scandinavian
takeoff.
547.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 4238.
Airline 3560, contact departure.
Castro departure on 124.908. The roll line 3560. Good day.
Ryanair 5054, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Ryan Air 5054.
We'll probably run this airport even busier than what we've got on the schedule right now. But again, I've just used the scheduler that I use, which only maxed out at 60 movements in the hour, but isn't be honest. Oh, down here. Right down. Canada. The Dreamliner, very nice. We've got a Qatar Dreamliner and Etihad 7, is it? Yeah, there as well. Get some Ryanair park over there.
Apron, Ryanair 6667 with information, Bravo, requesting push and start.
Got Ryanair. Ryanair 6667, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Ryanair 6667.
Scandinavian 4238, contact departure.
Castro departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 4238. Good day. Castro Tower, Aegean 5562 on final 22 left.
And I should be nearly. Got a Ryanair in the low delivery, which is interesting to see. And this guy should. Scandinavian 547, crest runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 547.
Apron, Scandinavian 4928 ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 4928, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Yankee, Alpha, Scandinavian 4928.
Apron, Elliot 5549 heavy with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Etihad 5549 heavy, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Elliot 5549 heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Apron, Ryanair 6667 ready to taxi.
Ryanair 6667, runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Zulu, Alpha. Ryanair 6667.
Scandinavian 8812, pushback approved, facing south. Scandinavian 4928, crest runway 30.
Pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 8812.
Ryanair 5054, taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Sierra Whiskey.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 4928.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Sierra, Whiskey, Ryanair 5054.
Scandinavian 5289, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Scandinavian 5289er.
Castrip Tower, Ryanair 9er20 on final 22 left.
Scandinavian 4928, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Ryanair 6667, cross runway 30.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 4928. Cross runway 30, Ryanair 6667.
Apron, Elliot 5549 heavy ready to taxi.
Etihad 5549 heavy, runway 22 right via Romeo Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha, Elliot 5549 heavy.
And then
Apron, Scandinavian 8812 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Ryanair 6667, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Ryanair 6667.
Scandinavian 5289, a taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Tango.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo.
Ryanair
Victor,
5054,
Tango.
cross runway 30.
Scandinavian 5289er.
Cross runway 30, Ryanair 5054.
Aegean 5562, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Aegean 5562.
Apron, Scandinavian 8812 ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 8812, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha, hold short of Alpha.
Runway 22 right, right Yankee, Alpha.
And
hold short of taxi,
6667, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Ryanair 6667.
Scandinavian 4928, contact departure.
Gastric departure on 124.98. Scandinavian 4928. Good day.
Etihad 5549 heavy, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Elliot 5549 heavy.
Scandinavian 5289, crash runway 30. Scandinavian 8812, continue taxi.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 5289er.
Scandinavian 8812, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Scandinavian 8812.
Scandinavian 8812, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 8812.
Ryanair 6667, contact departure.
Castrop departure on 124.98. Ryanair 6667. Good day.
Castrop
Tower, Austrian 32 on, final 22 left.
Aegean 5562, taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee. Aegean
Etihad
5562.
5549, a heavy runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Elliot 5549 heavy.
Ryanair 920, runway 22 left, cleared to land.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Ryanair 920.
Etihad, Scandinavian 8812, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait, Scandinavian 8812.
5562, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Aegean 5562.
Aegean 5562, taxi to terminal via Foxtrot, Zulu.
Castrop Tower, Magic Sun 1108 on, final 22 left.
Aegean 5562, taxi to terminal via Charlie Alpha Zulu.
Taxi to terminal via Charlie, Alpha, Zulu. Aegean 5562.
Apron, Spinner 5351 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
And a 5351, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Spinner 5351.
Ryanair 920, taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Sierra Whiskey.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Sierra, Whiskey, Ryanair 920.
Hold on.
Apron, Air Baltic 5576 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Air Baltic 5576, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Air Baltic 5576.
332, runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 8812, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Etihad 5549, a heavy, contact departure.
2 left, clear to land. Austrian 32.
Runway 2 to right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 8812.
Castrop departure on 124.908, Idiot 5549 a heavy. Good day.
And 9920 crash runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Ryan Air 920.
Castrop Tower, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike on final 22 left.
Apron, spinner 5351 ready to taxi.
And 5351 runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha. And 351 runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha. Spinner 5351.
And 5351 runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Zulu Alpha.
And 351 hold position. And 5351 hold position. And 5351 runway 22 right via Kilo Zulu Alpha. And 5351 hold position.
Hold position. Spinner 5351.
Why are you
Runway
trying to
22
go down
right
there?
via Kilo Zulu Alpha. Spinner 5351.
And 5351 runway 22 right via Kilo Yankee Alpha.
Hold position. Spinner 5351.
I don't know.
Runway 22 right via Kilo Yankee Alpha.
Austrian
Spinner
32 taxi
5351.
to terminal via Bravo Charlie Delta Yankee.
Taxi to terminal via
Baltic
Bravo.
5576
Charlie,
runway
Delta,
22
Yankee.
right via
Austrian 32.
Zulu Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Zulu. Alpha. Air Baltic
Baltic
5576.
5576 runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha. Austrian 32 taxi to terminal via Bravo Charlie Delta Zulu. Magic Sun 1108 runway 22 left clear to land. Scandinavian 8812 contact departure. Down here.
Runway 22 right via Yankee. Alpha. Air Baltic 5576.
Scandinavian 7988 pushback approved facing south.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo. Charlie. Delta. Zulu. Austrian 32.
Runway 2 to left, clear to land. Magic Sun 1108.
Castor departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 8812. Good day.
Pushback approved facing
Austrian
south.
32 taxi to
Scandinavian
terminal via
7988.
Bravo Charlie Delta Zulu.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo. Charlie. Delta. Zulu. Austrian 32.
Austrian 32 taxi to terminal via Bravo.
Taxi to terminal via
Austrian
Bravo.
32
Austrian
taxi to
32.
terminal.
Taxi to terminal. Austrian 32. Apron. Air Baltic 5576 ready to taxi.
Austrian 32 continue taxi. Austrian 32 taxi to ramp. Just doesn't want to move.
Continue taxi. Austrian 32. Taxi to ramp. Austrian 32.
Apron, Scandinavian 7988 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Magic Sun 1108 taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Magic Sun 1108.
Then 5351 cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Spinner 5351.
Apron, Scandinavian 7988 ready to taxi.
Scandinavian 7988 runway 22 right via Sierra Victor Foxtrot Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Sierra, Victor, Foxtrot, Alpha, Scandinavian 7988.
Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike runway 22 left clear to land.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike.
Scandinavian 8010 pushback approved facing south. The Baltic 5576 runway. Baltic 5576 cross runway 30.
Pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 8010.
Commands property error. Air Baltic 5576.
Then 5351, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Cross runway 30, Air Baltic 5576.
Iberia 8006, pushback approved facing south.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Spinner 5351.
Pushback approved facing south. Iberia Express X006.
Castro Tower, French Post 3530 on final 22 left.
Apron, Scandinavian 8010 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Apron, Iberia Express X006 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Now lovely sound, doesn't it? Go. Bay Baltic 5576, runway 22 right, line up and wet. Magic Sun 1108, cross runway 30.
Runway 22 right. Line up and wait. Air Baltic 5576.
Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike, taxi to ramp. Bravo. Zulu Kilo.
Cross runway 30. Magic Sun 1108.
Taxi to ramp, via Bravo, Zulu, Kilo, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike.
Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike, taxi to terminal via Bravo Yankee Kilo.
Taxi to terminal, via Bravo, Yankee, Kilo, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike.
French Post 3530, runway 22 left, cleared 1.
Runway 22 left. Clear to
Golf
land.
Delta
French Post
Zulu Echo Mike, cross runway
3530.
30. Scandinavian 7988, cross runway 30. Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike, hold short of taxiway Papa. Scandinavian 8010, runway 22 right via Sierra, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha.
Cross runway 30, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike.
And 5351, contact departure. Bay Baltic 5576, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 7988.
Hold short of taxiway Papa, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike. Runway 22 right, via Sierra, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha, Scandinavian 8010.
Iberia Express 8006, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Castro departure on 124.908, spinner 5351. Good day.
Runway 22 right. Cleared for takeoff. Air Baltic 5576.
Ryanair 90533, pushback approved, facing west.
Runway 22 right, via Yankee, Alpha, Iberia Express X006.
Scandinavian 7988, runway 22 right, line up and wet.
Pushback approved facing west. Ryanair 90533. Runway 22 right. Line up and wait. Scandinavian
Iberia Express
7988.
8006, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Iberia Express X006.
Bay Baltic 5576, contact departure.
Castro departure on 124.908. Air
Golf
Baltic
Delta Zulu Echo
5576.
Mike, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Golf Delta Zulu Echo Mike.
Scandinavian 8010, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 8010.
Scandinavian 5749, and pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved facing south, Scandinavian 5749er.
Scandinavian 7988, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right. Cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 7988.
Apron, Scandinavian 8010 ready to taxi.
Castro Tower, jet time 7680 on final 22 left.
Apron, Iberia Express X006 ready to taxi.
Castro Tower, Scandinavian 7281 on final 22 left.
Apron, Ryanair 90533 with information Bravo. Requesting push and start. Apron, Ryanair 90533 ready to taxi.
Ryanair 90533, runway 22 right via Sierra Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
via Sierra, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha, Ryanair 90533.
Iberia Express 8006 runway 2 right line up and wait. French Post 3530 taxi to ramp via November 2, Golf 2.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Iberia Express X006.
Iberia Express 8006 runway 22 right cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 7988 contact departure.
Taxi to ramp via November 2, Golf 2. French Post 3530.
Runway 22 right.
Scandinavian 5749 runway 22 right via Sierra, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha.
Castrap departure on
Quick time 7680 runway 22 left clear to land.
Good day.
Runway 22 right, via Sierra, Victor, Yankee,
Nordic 2212 push back approved
Alpha,
facing east.
Scandinavian 5749er.
Runway 22 left. Clear to land.
Scandinavian 8010 runway 22 right line up and wait.
Pushback approved facing east. Nordic 2212.
French Post 3530 cross runway 20. Yeah, that's right. French Post 3530 cross runway 30.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 8010.
Negative and known command. French Post 3530. Cross runway 30. French Post 3530.
Ryanair 90533 cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Ryanair 90533.
Apron, Scandinavian 5749er ready to taxi.
Iberia Express 8006 contact departure.
Castrop departure on 124.
Scandinavian 8010 runway 22 right cleared for takeoff.
Good day.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 8010.
Scandinavian 5749 cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian
Ryanair 65 push
5749er.
back approved facing west.
Pushback approved facing west. Ryanair 65.
Castrap Tower, red nose 8569er on final 22 left.
I'm go. Get time 7680 taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Tango.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor. Tango, jet time 7680.
Apron, Nordic 2212 ready for taxi.
Scandinavian 7281 runway 22 left clear to land.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 7281.
Ryanair 9533 runway 22 right line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Ryanair
Nordic
90533.
2212 runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Yankee, Alpha. Nordic 2212.
Scandinavian 8010 contact departure.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 8010. Good day.
Ryanair 9533 runway 22 right cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff. Ryanair 90533.
Castrop Tower, Scandinavian 198 on final 22 left.
Nordic 2212 cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Nordic 2212. Apron, Ryanair 65 ready to taxi.
Ryanair 65 runway 22 right via Romeo Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha. Ryanair 65.
And then 5749 runway 22 right line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 5749er.
Coming in here, which is
Apron, Scandinavian 5749er
time
with
7680
information. Bravo,
cross runway
requesting
30.
push and start.
Cross runway 30. Jet time 7680.
Ryanair 65 hold short of taxiway Romeo. Scandinavian 7281 taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Romeo. Scandinavian 7281 taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Tango. Red nose 8569, runway 22 left, cleared to land. Scandinavian 5749, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Red nose 2212, runway 22 right, line up and wait. Oops. Nordic 2212, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Hold short of taxiway Romeo, Ryanair 65.
Ryanair 65, continue taxi.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Romeo, Scandinavian 7281. Taxi to ramp via Bravo,
Ryanair 9533, contact
Tango,
departure.
Scandinavian 7281.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Red nose 8569er.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 5749er.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Nordic 2212. Continue taxi, Ryanair 65.
Castro departure on 124.908, Ryanair 90533. Good day.
Castro Tower, Scandinavian 9779er on final tune 2 left.
Apron, Nordic 2212 with information Bravo, requesting push and start. Apron, Ryanair 65 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Ryanair 65, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 5749, contact departure. Nordic 2212, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Cross runway 30, Ryanair 65.
Danish 1355, pushback approved facing south. I don't want that back one.
Castro departure on 124.908, Scandinavian 5749er. Good
Looks
day.
quite cool though.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Nordic 2212.
Pushback approved facing south.
Never seen one like
Danish
this one.
1355.
Here's the Qatar, nice. Wanted the Qatar to go before we did the video. Qatar 4511 heavy, pushback approved facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Qatari 4511 heavy.
Red nose 8569 a taxi. Terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee.
Scandinavian 7281, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 198, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 7281.
Runway 2 to left, clear to land. Scandinavian 198.
Castro Tower, Scandinavian 1809 on final 22 left.
Apron, Danish 1355 with information Bravo,
And
requesting push and start.
6841, pushback approved facing west.
Pushback approved facing west. Sprint have 6841.
Red nose. Ryanair 65, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Nordic 2212, contact departure.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Ryanair 65. Castro departure on 124.908, Nordic 2212. Good day.
Apron, Qatari 4511 heavy with information Bravo, requesting push and start. Apron, Qatari 4511 heavy ready to taxi.
Sorry, 4511 heavy, runway 22 right via Foxtrot Tower.
Runway 22 right, via Foxtrot, Alpha. Qatari 4511 heavy.
Landing.
Apron, Sprint have 6841.
Scandinavian 198,
Bravo,
taxi
requesting push and
to
start.
terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee. Scandinavian 198.
Red nose 8569 across runway 30. Nose 8569, hold short of taxiway Yankee. Scandinavian 9799, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Cross runway 30, red nose 8569er.
Sorry, 4511 heavy, cross runway 30.
Hold short of taxiway Yankee, red nose 8569er.
Ryanair 65, contact departure.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 9779er. Cross runway 30, Qatari 4511 heavy.
Finish 1355, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Cast trip departure on 124.908, Ryanair 65. Good day.
Runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha, Danish 1355.
Enter 6841, runway 22 right via Golf 2, 30, Charlie Alpha. Enter 6841, runway 22 right via Golf 2, runway 30, Charlie Alpha.
Negative. Unable. Sprint air 6841.
Enter 6841, runway 22 right via Golf 2, runway 30, Charlie.
Runway 2 to right, via Golf 2, runway 30, Charlie, Alpha, Sprint air 6841.
Enter 6841, runway 22 right via Golf 2, runway 30, runway 22 left, Bravo.
Runway 2 to right, via Golf 2, runway
I'm just messing
30,
around now.
Charlie, Sprint air 6841.
Sorry, 4511 heavy, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Red Nose 8569 and continue taxi. And then Avian 9799 taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee. Finish 1355, crash runway 30. Enter 6841, runway 22 right via Golf 2, runway 30.
Runway 2 to right, via Golf 2, runway 30, runway 2 to the left.
And then Avian 1809, runway 22 left, cleared to.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Qatari 4511 heavy.
Those are Qatari.
Taxi, Red Nose 8569.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Yankee.
And then Avian 198, crash
9779.
runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Danish 1355.
Runway 2 to right, via Golf 2, runway 30, Sprint air
Dixon
6841.
5904, pushback approved, facing west.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 1809.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 198.
Pushback approved facing west. Magic Sun 5904.
Castrop Tower, Scandinavian 7035 on final 2 to left.
Enter 6841, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30, Sprint air 6841.
Apron, Danish 1355 ready to taxi.
Apron, Sprint air 6841 ready to taxi.
Castrop Tower,
Finish
Ryanair
1355, runway 22 right, line up
left.
and wet. Sorry, 4511 heavy, contact departure.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Danish 1355.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Qatari 4511 heavy.
And then Avian 8266, pushback approved facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 8266.
And then Avian 1809, a taxi to terminal via Bravo, Victor, Tango.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Victor, Tango. Scandinavian
Bring him up Bravo.
1809.
Oh, good. And then Avian 7035, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Scandinavian
And then
7035.
Avian 9799, crash runway 30. Gonna come up
Cross
Bravo.
runway 30, Scandinavian 9779.
Apron, Magic Sun 5904 ready to taxi.
Finish 1355, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Danish 1355.
Castrop Tower, Scandinavia 939 on final 22 left.
Magic Sun 5904, runway 22 right, via Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Romeo, Victor, Yankee,
And Avian
Foxtrot,
1809,
Alpha,
hold position.
Magic Sun 5904. Hold position. Scandinavian 1809. Apron. Scandinavian
And then Avian
8266
1809,
ready to
continue
taxi.
taxi.
Continue taxi. Scandinavian 1809.
Scandinavian 8266, runway 22 right, via Whiskey, Romeo, Victor, Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Runway 22 right, via Whiskey, Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot,
Scandinavian 6639, push back approach facing south.
8266.
Scandinavian 2121, push back approach facing south. Red Nose 2121, push back approach facing south.
Pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian 6639er.
Went 6841, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Negative, I'm arrival. Scandinavian 7035.
Pushback approved facing south.
Scandinavian 7035, taxi ramp via Bravo.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Sprinter 6841.
Scandinavian 1809, across runway 30. Magic Sun 5904, hold position. Ryanair 49013, runway 22 left, clear to land. Danish 1355, contact departure.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo. Scandinavian 7035.
Scandinavian 879, pushback approved facing south.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 1809. Hold position, Magic Sun 5904.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Ryanair 49013.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Danish 1355. Good day.
We're gonna have to hold him.
Pushback approved facing south. Scandinavian
Scandinavian 1809,
7009.
hold short of taxiway Victor 2. Magic Sun 5904, continue taxi. Scandinavian 1809, continue taxi. Scandinavian 1809, hold short of taxiway Tango. Scandinavian 6639, runway 22 right via Tango Whiskey, Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha. Scandinavian 6639, runway 22 right via Tango Whiskey, Romeo, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot.
Hold short of taxiway Victor, Scandinavian
Renault
1809.
6841, contact departure. Renault 2121, runway 22 right via Kilo Foxtrot. Renault 221, runway 22 right via Kilo Yankee Alpha.
Continue taxi, Magic Sun 5904.
Renault 49013, taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Tango. Scandinavian 939, runway 22 left, clear to land. Magic Sun 5904, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 8266, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 8709, runway 22 right via Sierra Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Continue taxi, Scandinavian 1809. Hold short of taxiway Tango, Scandinavian
And
1809.
4114, pushback approved facing south.
Taxiway
Iberia
not
Express
found.
3055,
Scandinavian
pushback approved facing
6639.
south. Renault 2121, hold short of taxiway Yankee.
Runway 22 right via Tango, Whiskey, Romeo, Victor,
And then everyone
Yankee,
1809,
Foxtrot,
continue taxi.
Scandinavian 6639er.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Sprinter 6841. Good day.
Coming down here. So
Runway 22 right, via Kilo, Foxtrot. Red Nose 2121. Runway 22 right, via Kilo,
Magic
Yankee,
Sun
Alpha.
5904, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Tango, Ryanair 49013.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Scandinavian 939er.
Cross runway 30, Magic Sun 5904.
And then Avian 8709, cross runway 30.
Cross runway 30.
And then Avian 7035, cross runway 30. And then Avian 6639, hold short of taxiway Romeo.
Runway 22 right, via Sierra, Victor, Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha, Scandinavian 8709er.
Pushback approved facing south. Mermaid 4114.
And then Avian 939, taxi to terminal via Bravo Sierra.
Pushback approved facing south. Iberia Express 3055.
Hold short of taxiway Yankee. Red Nose 2121.
Scandinavian 8266, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Continue taxi. Scandinavian 1809. Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Magic
Scandinavian
Sun
6639 and
5904.
continue taxi.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 8709.
Alpine 331. Alpine 3319, push back approved facing west.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 7035.
Rhino 49013, cross runway 30.
Hold short of taxiway Romeo. Scandinavian 6639er.
Scandinavian 6639 across runway 30.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo, Sierra.
Red Nose 2121, continue taxi.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 8266.
Continue taxi. Scandinavian 6639er.
Pushback approved facing west. Alpine 3319.
Punch post 4158, push back approved facing north.
Cross runway 30. Ryanair 4913.
Cross runway 30. Scandinavian 6639er.
Continue taxi. Red Nose 2121.
Pushback approved facing north. French
Scandinavian
coast
8266,
4158.
runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Magic Sun 590, for contact departure. Mermaid 4114, runway 22 right via Yankee. Iberia Express 3055, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 8266.
Scandinavian 8709, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Magic Sun 5904. Good day.
All the way down.
Runway 2 to right, via Yankee.
He's gonna
Alpha.
put it.
Mermaid 4114.
Runway 22 right, via Yankee, Alpha, Iberia Express 3055.
ET3348, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 8709.
Mermaid 4114, cross runway 30. Red Nose 2121, cross runway 30. Scandinavian 9390, cross runway 30. Alpine 3319, runway 22 right via Romeo Victor Foxtrot.
Runway 22 left.
Scandinavian 8266, contact departure. Scandinavian 8709, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 6639, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Cross runway 30. Mermaid 4114.
Cross runway 30. Red Nose 2121.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian 939.
Runway 22 right, via
Iberia
Romeo.
Express
Victor,
3055, cross
Foxtrot,
runway 30.
Alpha. Alpine 3319.
Iberia Express 8521, pushback approved, facing east.
Castrop departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 8266.
French
Good
course
day.
4158, runway 2 left at here via Gulf, India.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 8709.
Runway 22 right. Line up and wait. Scandinavian 6639er.
Cross runway 30, Iberia Express 3055.
Pushback approved facing east.
Scandinavian 6639, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Mermaid 4114, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 left at India via Gulf.
Line 3319 across, runway
French coast
30.
4158.
Runway 22 right. Cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian
Scandinavian
6639er.
8709, contact departure.
Runway 2 to right, line up and wait. Mermaid 4114.
Command requirement missing. Alpine 3319er. Castrop departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 8709er. Good day.
Apron. Red Nose 2121 ready to taxi.
Apron. Scandinavian 6639er ready to taxi.
Apron. Scandinavian 8709er ready to taxi.
Castrop Tower. Easy 3348 on final 22 left.
Apron, Iberia Express 3055 ready to taxi.
Apron, Mermaid 4114 ready to taxi.
Apron. Alpine 3319 are ready to taxi.
NH 2878, pushback approved facing west.
Pushback approved facing west.
Scandinavian 7907, pushback
2878.
approved facing south. Mermaid 4114, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Red Nose 2121, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
approved facing south. Scandinavian
EG3348
7907.
taxi to ramp via Bravo Victor Sierra Whiskey. Bridge bus 4158, runway 22 left, line up and wait.
Runway 2 to right, clear for takeoff.
Alpine
Mermaid
3319
4114.
crash, runway 30. Iberia Express 8521, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Runway 22 right. Line up and wait. Red nose 2121.
Scandinavian 6639, contact departure.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo, Victor, Sierra, Whiskey, Easy 3348.
Bench bus 4158, runway 22 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 left, line up and wait. French post 4158. Cross runway 30, Alpine 3319er.
Runway 2 to
Iberia
right.
Express
Yankee
8521,
Iberia Express
cross runway
8521.
30. Made 4114, contact departure.
Castro departure on 124.908. Scandinavian 6639er. Good day.
Runway 22 left, cleared for
Finish
takeoff.
2878,
French post
runway
4158.
22 right via Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Cross runway 30. Iberia Express 852.
Castro departure on 124.908. Mermaid 4114. Good day.
Runway 22 right, via Victor. Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha. Danish 2878.
Scandinavian 7907, runway 22 right via Tango Whiskey, Romeo Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha. Scandinavian 7907, runway 22 right via Tango Whiskey, Romeo Victor Foxtrot.
Negative. Taxiway not found. Scandinavian 7907. Runway 22 right via Tango Whiskey Romeo Victor
EG3348, cross runway 30.
Scandinavian 7907.
Cross runway 30. Easy 3348.
EG3348, hold short of taxiway Sierra.
Hold short of taxiway Sierra. Easy
EG3348,
3348.
hold short of taxiway Whiskey. Goodness 2121, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Iberia Express 3055, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Hold short of taxiway Whiskey.
French bus
Easy
4158, contact
3348.
departure.
Runway 22 right. Cleared for takeoff. Red nose
Finish
2121.
2878, cross runway 30.
Runway 22 right. Line up and wait.
Iberia Express 8716,
3055.
pushback approved, facing east.
Castro departure on 124.908. French post 4158. Good day.
Cross runway 30. Danish 2878.
Pushback approved facing east. IBV Express 8716.
Apron, French post 4158 ready to taxi.
Apron. Iberia Express 8521 ready to taxi.
Apron, Danish 2878 ready to taxi.
Iberia Express 3055, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Alpine 3319, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right. Cleared for takeoff. Iberia Express 3055.
Red nose 2121, contact departure.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Alpine 3319er.
Bluebird 7729, pushback approved, facing south.
Castro departure on 124.908. Red nose 2121. Good day.
Pushback approved facing south.
Finish 3332, runway 22 left, cleared to land.
Runway 22 left, cleared to land. Danish 3332. Castrop Tower, Danish 3332 on final 22 left.
Apron. Scandinavian 7907 ready to taxi.
Castro Tower, Mermaid 3324 on final 22 left.
Alpine 3319, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Iberia Express 8521, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Alpine 3319er.
Runway 2 to right.
Iberia Express
Line up and wait.
3055, contact
Iberia Express
departure.
852.
Castro departure on 124.908. Iberia Express 3055. Good day.
Apron, IBV Express 8716 ready to taxi.
Iberia Express 8716, runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha.
Runway 22 right via Yankee Alpha. IBV Express 8716.
E3348 to continue taxi.
Continue taxi. Easy 3348.
Abu Express 8521, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Finish 2878, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Abu Express 8521.
Abu Express 8716, cross runway 30. Line 3319 and contact departure.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Danish 2878.
Cross runway 30. IBV Express 8716.
Bluebird 7729 and runway 22 right via Romeo Victor Yankee Foxtrot Alpha.
Castro, departure on 124.908, Alpine 3319er.
I'm going to get the speedbird out and he will be the last aircraft out of this
Victor,
session.
Yankee, Foxtrot, Alpha, Speedbird 7729er. Apron, Speedbird 7729er ready to taxi.
Apron, Magic Sun 5904 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Scandinavian 7907, crash runway 30. Finish 2878, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Cross runway 30, Scandinavian
8521, contact departure.
7907.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Danish 2878.
Abu Express 8716, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Casper departure on 124.908. Abu Express 8521.
Bluebird 7729, crash runway 30.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. IBV Express 8716.
Cross runway 30, Speedbird 7729er.
Finish.
Apron, Scandinavian 8266 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Castro Tower, Scandinavian 807 on final 22 left.
Abu Express 8716, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. IBV Express 8716.
Scandinavian 7907, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Scandinavian 7907.
Finish 2878, contact departure.
Castrip departure on 124.908, Danish 2878. Good day.
Finish 3332, taxi to ramp via Bravo Zulu Mike.
Taxi to ramp via Bravo. Zulu Mike. Danish 3332.
Runway 332 forward, runway 22 left, clear.
Runway 22 left, clear to land. Mermaid 3324.
Finish 3332, crash runway 30. Finish 332. Finish 3332, taxi to terminal via Bravo.
Cross runway 30.
Finish 3332, taxi to terminal via Bravo Yankee.
Taxi to terminal.
Finish 3332, crash runway 30.
3332.
Scandinavian 7907, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Abu Express 8716, contact departure. Bluebird 7729, runway 22 right, line up and wait.
Taxi to terminal via Bravo. Yankee. Danish 3332. Cross runway 30. Danish 3332.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 7907.
I'm just going to move him now because we're going to end the video in a
Departure
second.
on 124.908, IBV Express 8716. Good day, good job.
Runway 22 right, line up and wait. Speedbird 7729er.
Eat Scandinavia.
Apron, red nose 2121 with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Bluebird 7729, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Scandinavian 7907, contact departure.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird 7729er.
Goes the
Casper departure on
speedbird.
124.908, Scandinavian 7907. Good day.
Apron, Scandinavian 6639er with information Bravo, requesting push and start.
Off goes the speedbird into the fog. So we're going to end the video there. About an hour's worth of gameplay, so pretty good session. We got the full hour in worth of the custom schedule. Overall, pretty fun session. Feedback wise, it's nothing too busy, but keeps you busy enough. I feel like we can probably max this out even more, like with the runway config we're using. But might try this airport again in the future and use runway 30 just to make it a little bit more complicated if we've got crossing runways with departures and arrivals. So that should be quite interesting. But overall, that was quite fun. I did enjoy playing that. It was pretty much constant arrivals, a little bit of a quiet period for 5-10 minutes, but we got a lot of departures out at that stage. I decided to send the cargo off 2-2 left just because that was easier, rather than taxiing it all the way across. Probably should have done that with the other one that we had before as well, rather than taxiing it, but we had the gap for the second one. If you do want to play this schedule, I will leave a link to it in the description below as well, so you can download it and give it a go. Again, obviously the different hours will depend on what you want, what you'll get, but this was one of the busier hours, so you shouldn't expect any more traffic than what you see here. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you do enjoy the content, if you do enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe. That massively helps me out and helps me grow the channel so I can bring you more content like this in the future. If you do have any questions, any comments or feedback or anything around this video, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. And if you've got any suggestions for anything you want to see in the future, just let me know and I will definitely take a look at doing that at some point in the near future. But for now, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.